basis because they were clean the week before. Because they have a very clean network, they don't have anything going on the outside. But it was because of a misconfiguration we got in. Have you had a security assessment? How many people have gone through a security assessment? Is it a vulnerability assessment or a pen test? Both? Okay, because there's a big difference. A lot of people, I hear vulnerability, oh yeah, we've had a vulnerability assessment. PCI says you have to have vulnerability testing. That's changing. They're going to change the wording on this, on the new stuff, to say pen testing. Okay, because it is different. Pen testing, I'm a pen tester. I'm not a vulnerability guy. I don't come to your office and run a scanner and go, oh, here's all your vulnerabilities, thanks. I'll collect my check. No, we break in. We break in, we show you how we break in, and all the things that come with that. So what's going on out there? So we've got foreign government attacks, you've got Dooku, you've got Flame, you've got Stuxnet. Look at the time difference between some of those things were reported and when they were actually in the wild. Flame was in the wild, what, 2 years? 2 years. Stuxnet was, almost 2 years itself before they knew about it. Okay? Very targeted attacks. Malware drive-by hacking is really big. Botnet automated scans. I see botnet automated scans all the time. Okay? Dooku, GOS, Flame. Okay? These are very directed, very sophisticated things that are going out there. State sponsor, you get corporate sponsored stuff. Espionage. I've worked cases between two companies that are rivals, and they've tried to do, you know what? One of the worst ones, several years ago that I worked with law enforcement on this one, the other company, the rival company, took one of their guys, paid him really good money to get a job at the other company in their IT group, just so they can get a foothold in there. They faked an apartment for him, an identity. They spent bucks trying to do it because they wanted in that company. Trust me, it happens. Okay? So what are we seeing? The common, these are in order of the things that we see right now. Web applications is number one. We got still seeing a lot of Microsoft SQL, MSTE. I love, so you can do Google searches and look for these tags and find this stuff. Exchange, phishing, email, Citrix. I worked a case not more than 6 months ago in an entertainment group. Okay, they had lots of credit cards. They actually got breached through their Citrix servers. The bad guys put malware, keyloggers on that box. Then they pivoted off of that, went after their point of sale system, which should not have been connected to their Citrix systems, and listened on their network. They did nothing for 2 months. Just stood there and just collected credit cards. And then when that 2 months was up, they actually waited. They actually looked at these guys' website, waited for a conference to come in town. Once the conference was over, okay, within 3 days of the conference being over, credit cards were being used in Greece, Georgia, and not the U.S. Georgia, Switzerland, Italy, San Francisco, a few other places in the U.S. within 3 days. Okay, and the reason it was so spread out because the people who stole the numbers didn't use the numbers. They made their money and got out. They gave those cards to mules. The mules went out there and started trying to buy the TVs. Terminal servers and USB drive devices. Like Jason, I don't know if you all heard Jason's speech a few minutes ago. It's funny how many times people will fall for the USB on the ground trick. What I do, and I'll tell you my little trick, is when I go into offices and stuff, I leave USB thumb drives. People always pick them up. I don't leave them on the floor. I put them on their desk, leave them in the lunchroom, I actually walked into a receptionist with a box. It was open on the top, and I filled it with 20 USB drives. Said, yeah, I was supposed to drop this off. Thanks. I had to run out real quick. And I acted like I was talking on the phone. How long do you think, and I had phone home software on all these drives. How long do you think it took before my computer started beeping at me, telling me that I would talk?
5 minutes.
No, that's good, but no. It actually took 15 minutes. Very, very quick. So how paranoid do we have to be? Well, it depends what you're protecting. It's one thing if you're protecting nuclear secrets, right, or the launch codes, because that guy's got it shackled to his hand and he's walking around with the president. What size are you? I think that's iffy, because what did the guys do years ago? They didn't go after the size of the company, they went after how much bandwidth you have. Well, now everyone's got huge bandwidth pipes, because they want it what? To hack into your stuff so they can upload their movies and their music and everything so they can serve it out to all their friends. How sophisticated are your users? Whose job is it to get them more sophisticated? All of us. We have to train these people, because they don't know. They do this at home. They're giving this information freely at home. They're not, even though you can put out posters that, hey, protect the company data. No. How well do you keep current? How many people patch Tuesday night? Okay. Mike doesn't have to.
A month after Tuesday.
A month after, oh man. That's what I call hard on the outside and gooey on the inside. Just go after that. So yeah, some common tools, of course, Nessus, scanners, Metasploit, backtracking, map, Otago, WebBat, Fire. These are all kind of different tools that we use out there. I think I've got another 5 minutes or so. So where do we go from here? If you do have a breach, I know that's what we've been coming to, right? So I wanted to show you all breaches out there and some of the bad things. So what do? Well, document who, what, when, where, the who, the what, the when, the where. What servers, what networks, what web pages, and get all the events. Because someone like myself coming in, I've got to do this anyways. Because I'm trying to figure out where they came in, because they might have come in from multiple places. And the only way I can help find this if someone's already started to do this. It's just a good incident response plan. Okay? Stay calm, assess the damage, notify your staff. A lot of times staff won't notify anybody. They go, oh, we had a breach. We told the CIO, but we're keeping it quiet. Well, guess what? You need to talk to your help desk. You got to talk to your other management. Because if you've got a bunch of 900 phone calls coming in like Zappos, they had to shut down all the people that were behind the computers and told them just to answer phones because they got so many phone calls. Secure your backups. If I can't preach and tell anybody and I get a hallelujah, is on backups. Secure your backups. Okay? This hasn't happened to me once, but twice, but three, but multiple times when people have had a breach, they go, uh-oh, where do we go? Well, guess what? These people have been in your network for a while before you probably knew it. So if you go back 2 weeks and the breach is still there and the exploit's still there, that rootkit and that malware, and you restore, guess what just came back to your network? Okay? It's crazy. Know your baseline. Know what your network looks like today. What does it look clean? What does it look like on the wire? What do those servers look like? Anybody run something like Tripwire or anything? One person. You know what your network looks like. You know what your servers look like, right? So if something changes, you know something's going. You got to go look at it. Okay? If you're not planning to identify the intruder, yank the internet, at least for a short time. And the only reason is so they're not working against you while you're trying to get them out. Okay? I've had both sides of the coin. I've had a customer that wanted to identify the intruder, so we actually did. We found out who did it. We traced it back to London, to a small little village outside of London. A kid sitting in his mom's basement. Okay? And he broke into an insurance company in the great state of Texas and started messing around. He wasn't trying to steal anything. He was trying to upload movies and music. And when we got called in, I'm looking at the system and the screen's moving around. This guy's popping up FTP servers and he's loading music, and the IT guy is sitting there from the company's going, man, let's just turn this server off. I'm like, no, these are good movies. so sometimes you have to think, okay? Sometimes you can't just yank them. So how do we lower our risk profile? It's all we talked about risk, right? What's our risk profile? If we have really, really high risk, what do we have to do to mitigate? Think of it as a maximum security prison, right? What do they do to minimize the risk? Layers of security, okay? I'm a Shrek fan. I like Shrek. I like big green ogres, I guess. He said it perfectly. Ogres are like onions. Security's like onions. Layers, okay? Because if I get past the first layer, maybe that was easy. Maybe I can't get past the second layer. Now, if I have the first layer, the second layer, and the third layer all by the same people, it's trivial, right? You're going to get through it. I'm a firm believer. I don't like running the same AV and stuff and security technologies on the servers versus I do on the desktop, because these guys might catch it and these guys might not. But if I got layers, it's sure as hell. Edge of the network, manage endpoints, patch remediation, know what your patches are, know when a machine comes on, okay? Wireless. Treat wireless as an open, it's always open, anybody can listen in, just that's the way you gotta treat it, okay? Unless you were, I don't care if you're using WPA2 Enterprise, I hacked one not more than a week ago in about 30 minutes and got into WPA2, okay? Go to WPAcracker.net, $17, you give them your key, and within 10 minutes they'll give you the unencrypted key. So, gateways, okay? Think about gateways. Your IPS, IDS, lots of monitoring. Think about monitoring, okay? This is the one thing I can't stress enough in logging, you know? There's good SIM solutions and not so good SIM solutions, okay? There's cheap ones and there's expensive ones. There's free ones too, okay? Get something, okay? There's managed stuff. The managed stuff out there is pretty darn good, you know, where you don't have to watch it. But if you're not logging this stuff, you're not going to see it. You're not going to have a record of what happened and when, okay? And those things are going to give you a lot of information. Authentication, think about biometrics, tokens, smart cards, you know, stuff, other authentication. Look at a lot of hospitals now. What are the nurses wearing? They're having their ID card, right, when they're going up to the carts, you know, and having to use that as their login method. It makes it easier for them, but it's two-factor, right? It's something I have to carry on my body, okay? I know RSA got hacked, and I'm sure that stuff's out there, but there's other solutions. So this is what everybody thinks, right? You got your firewall and you got your bad guy behind it. You know, I need to update this graphic and just tear this wall down because they're probably already in the network, right? So that's what I tell people. Think about that. If they're already there, how do I find them? How do I log them? And how do I keep them out of my network? I worked a job in Boston recently, and the company was breached. We could see physical, we actually put a gateway device in to watch everything going out their network because they didn't have any security layers. They were my prime example of, we got a firewall, we're good. And we actually watched data, their data, proprietary data. And I guarantee you, everyone in this room right now is a customer because I looked up their location before I came here, and one of their devices is really close here. So, and I won't say who it is. The problem there was all this data was going outbound. The security team, okay, the VP of security, she was going, we got to lock it down, we got to get forensics on this, we got to find out where this is coming from and fix this now. The VP of infrastructure, who owns all the servers, is going, nope, we got this. We'll just re-image. Just tell us what machines are breached and we'll go ahead and re-image them. As fast as they could re-image machines, more machines were popping up with malware and talking and trying to get data outbound, okay? It's there. But they couldn't see it. Notice I'm back to logging. If they would have had that, we could have found all the machines at one time versus waiting for a few to trickle out, okay? There you go. Next one. And that's me, so if you have questions, please ask me. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Or we'll sit here uncomfortable and I'll just stare.
I got a question for you, Dan.
Yes, sir.
How did they determine how many addresses or credit card numbers or something? You got an interesting slide in the beginning there, and it seemed to be pretty detailed. Where do those numbers come from?
Which ones?
What was compromised?
The first of the two sites?
Not this one, right?
No,
No,
way
no,
before
no.
that. The two,
No, back
the two
there at the beginning.
websites that showed that, or I guess it's the second one that was showed. It's not the ID,
Oh, wait a minute.
but the other one.
There we go. Now, how do they make those determinations?
Oh, this one was real easy because Anonymous took the entire database. They just
Oh,
had to look
okay.
at the number of records in the database.
Oh, okay.
That's all they had to do.
Took the database and then they published the database.
Yeah, it's still out there. It's up there on Pirate Bay. You can torrent it down if you want. Yeah.
Well, other companies get compromised. Are they making estimates or what?
Some are, some aren't. Some don't want to tell
I
you.
don't think anybody's gonna leave a note saying I just stole
No.
10,256.
No, and that usually comes from forensics to try to figure out what happened. How many were on this database? This is the estimated number. If this database has 400,000 records in it, we have to assume if we see the database leaving, we know they got everything. So that's where those numbers are coming. But
Is there a case where you can say, okay, this amount of data was gone, that compared to the size of your database, there's your estimate, and average size of a particular record? That kind of math type of thing?
no, I mean, sometimes you can, but I think it's more from, we've seen data, like I did this chemical company, okay, and a sales guy who was insider theft, he was stealing a bunch of information, and he was trying to FTP globs of data out. And when we caught him, we know that he only got 3/4 of the data. So we knew approximately how much he got out versus what was left, you know. So, but on the other hand, some companies don't want to report because they don't want to look bad in the press, right? Because if they look bad in the press, then they think, uh-oh, our stuff's going to go down. No one's going to buy from us. Blah 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 blah. You know, all that kind of stuff. So that's the biggest thing.
But the complete database has been compromised.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If the complete thing's been, downloaded, you're done. Just chalk it up. You really shouldn't keep credit card numbers. There's no reason to keep credit card numbers. If they process it and it comes back, you can tokenize it coming back and say, okay, this is the user or whatever, but not keeping the card numbers. And a lot of it has to do with the point of sale systems, the people who make those software, because they're very lazy. They try to do it as easy and as quick as they can. And this one I've worked, actually I was working with FBI on it. Any FBI in here?
Can't say.
Hold on. Let's see who wins. Okay, I got my challenge coin. I got a free drink. Yeah, all right, there we go. All right, see me after class. I always carry my challenge coins because I always see, FBI that I work with and stuff. It's funny. So if y'all don't know what those are, they're little tokens. Anyways, is working with this company and looking through their stuff. The point of sales people, they write garbage. It's incredible because you'll have the point of sale guys and they'll go, no, we're PCI compliant. Well, you're not because you're storing all this credit card information. You're storing all track 2 information. Everything's there. So why are you storing it there and why are you storing it unencrypted? Because when I started the investigation at this particular entertainment site, I said I went and started interviewing people. So I had FBI, they were interviewing the server people. I went after the people that were processing the cards. I went to accounting and other stuff, and I started interviewing those guys. Show me the screen. Yeah, so she'd bring up a screen, and it would show the last 4 digits. But I noticed on the bottom of the screen, there was a manager access, F9. Bring, there's the whole credit card number. Because I asked her a very important question. What do you do if someone calls up and says, hey, I'm disputing a charge? How do you credit them back? She goes, oh, well, I just hit F9 and here's my credit card number and then I just put it back in and I hit refund. I was like, you shouldn't have that. Okay? They should give you the card again. Look at some retailers now. When you go for a refund, what do they make you do? I need the original card, you swipe it, they put the money back on it. Okay? That would be way better.
Can you keep the last 4 only? So
You can. You can actually keep 6 digits.
6 digits.
You can keep 6 digits.
So when you call up, say, I frequently order takeout, and they keep credit cards on file all the time. Unless there's a way, can they keep something they can submit for transactions?
If it's encrypted, it depends on the point of sale software.
Okay.
There is some point of sale softwares that will tokenize it,
Yeah.
and it will keep it at the credit card processor. So it's only a token going between 2 places. The credit card number doesn't change. Right?
What happens when they read 6 digits from the card? That's still compliant?
That's still compliant,
Let 'em
yeah,
know, right?
because I can't identify it. I can't use the 6 numbers. It makes no difference to me. You know, I don't have the full number. I don't have the CV code on the back of the card. You know, your 4-digit or 6-digit card. So, yeah, it's not. It just won't work for anything. You can't guess it. You know.
You wouldn't use that 6-digit code as a token.
No. The whole number is taken and then tokenized. There's several companies that will take your whole credit card number in a point of sale system and tokenize it inside your database.
Just to break in, it is 5 o'clock, and Zach and Suri? Suri.
We gotta go see Zach.
So
He's
they're
my buddy.
here.
Thanks,
Final-
guys.
Final presentation.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.